For any of you that are going to win and go to Vegas, you're going to take me with you because I'm going to be your personal taster over there. That's how we're going to start. Next, what we're doing, we're creating a beautiful, this is for one of my dear friends, Isabel, who loves my tartare sauce, and I'm going to mix those ingredients to do our slaw. This is all about salmon, coleslaw that is a complimentary player on that plate, and I'm going to do some mashed potato tarts for you. I have the mashed potato that has been sitting in the refrigerator overnight, so this is a great use for an leftover, and we make it into patties. And I am going to use rye to crust my salmon. So instead of thinking about another flour and using other flour, we're going to use that same flour. We're going to put it in the rye. As you can see, it's going to create a drier surface on the potato tart. We're going to go in the milk, wet, and we're going to go into the breadcrumbs. Now we have a beautiful crust. What are we going to do here? We're not just going to have that soft texture center. We're going to have a beautiful crust on the outside. Let this baby sit here while we're working on something else. Right now, I am also caramelizing a little bit of onion here to bring out that natural sweetness. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Napa cabbage, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to take the vein, we call this the vein, out. Mustard greens have the same thing, and we're going to take those out, and we're going to slice those really, 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 really thin, and we're going to add that beautiful crunchy texture to the onions. Now these two are going to cook together, they're going to warm together, they're going to create a marriage of flavor. We're going to add a little bit of salt, sea salt I would ask you to use, and we're going to add a little bit of sugar right there, nothing else. And you saw how little that was. Let these cook. Meanwhile, I want to show you something about slicing and shredding leaves. Instead of having the leaves sitting long way, cut them in half, put them on top of each other, so your knife, your blade has more to catch and is going to do a much better job at shredding it. We're going to shred the cabbage. The reason that is called Napa cabbage is because this is mainly started in the San Francisco area, in the Bay Area. That's why it was called Napa cabbage. Look how beautiful and shredded this is. This is going to go in here. We're going to use some sugar now. This is a classic way of doing a coleslaw. A little bit of salt and some vinegar over it, and we're going to let this sit. When we come back later, you're going to see what's going to happen to this, but you're not going anywhere yet. I'm not done with you. Next, what we're going to do, we have a pan that is heating up. Hot pan, I always say this, cold oil, and you're going to see very little oil is needed, not much, and your oil is going to start smoking. That's when we're going to take the potato cake and we're going to put it in here. I wish my dear friend Kim Murphy was here because she would be in heaven. We're going to reduce the temperature now, and we're going to let this baby do its thing before I get back to it. Let's see what's happening with this slaw. We do not want to cook this cabbage too long. Why? Because if you cook it, then it's going to lose its crunch. We want that texture difference here between this and the rest of the cabbage that has been sliced. Now look at this, lukewarm, that's going to go on top of our slaw as well. Now what do we have? We have a caramelized onion slaw. I amaze myself constantly. How do I do this? Oh my God, I'm so good. Next, this baby, let's flip it, and we have this side crusted, the other side is doing its job, and it's going to go in the oven. Let's go, baby, you do your thing in the oven. Next segment, what I'm going to show you is we're going to crust the salmon, we're going to pan-sear the salmon, and we're going to make a beautiful pan sauce of capers, shallots, garlic, and tarragon, which is going to be a concept of a piccata, but instead of parsley, we're going to use tarragon. So that's what we're going to do for the next.